Thank you, everyone. Yeah, we just came from the stage, and then we went back, and now we're back. So getting our steps in for the day. Yeah, so hi, everyone. Welcome to Using Clio Grow, Lead's journey from a client, from a contact to a client. My name is Rio Peterson, and this is my co-presenter.
I'm Fromovich.
Yeah, we're good. We got this, you guys. So we're really, really excited to have you all here with us today. As you know, Grow is a new product for us and a really powerful tool and something we're all really excited about. So hooray to all of you for embracing Grow early on. And yeah, we're really happy to kind of walk you through using the product to the best of your ability today. So before we do that, though, we're going to tell you a little bit about us. The two of us, yeah. So as I mentioned before, my name is Rio, also known as Rio from Clio, and I am our Affinity Program Coordinator. So that means that I will help to manage the 74 relationships that we have with bar associations and law societies across North America. And so if you're a member of a bar, which if you're a lawyer, I really hope you are, it's great to be here, great to have you here. You're one of our partners, so welcome. Also, I do want a fun fact. This is my second year presenting at ClioCon. Last year was kind of a life-changing experience. It was the time when I fell in love with public speaking, and it sort of altered the course of my entire career, and now I do public speaking as part of my job for Clio, so it's a big deal, and I'm really happy to be here and happy to share that with all of you.
Yeah, and hello everyone. I'm Shaked Fromovich. I'm a software developer at Clio. I'm also going to tell a bit about myself. My journey to become a software developer was not a regular one. It didn't start with getting a degree first. I was actually getting into code in the Israeli military. I served there as an officer for 7 years. I will start with the most common question. No, I don't have any Krav Maga experience. That's usually the first question that comes after my introduction. After my service, I joined a typical Tel Aviv startup for 2 years, and then I decided to move to Vancouver, Canada, where I joined Clio. I've been in many teams in Clio, but most of my time I've been in the Grow team. And both Rio and I are super excited to tell you about the new things we developed for you in the following year. So I think we can start. We will start with the agenda about what we got for you today. The first thing that we will cover will be why do firms need Clio Grow, how your firm can benefit with using our product. Then we will cover some key terms that we are going to say a lot in this section, so we will have a bit more understanding of what we are going to talk about. Also, we are going to cover the stages from a potential client until paying customers. And then we are going to show reporting and measurements, so to make sure that you can do this process better and better every time that you do it. And don't worry, in the end, we are going to leave some time for questions. But first, we are going to start with Rio. Why do we need Clio Grow?
Yeah, and that is a good question. So for those of you who are familiar with Clio or have been longtime members of the family, you will know that transforming the practice of law for good is not just our mission statement, but something that we hold very close to our hearts. And we really work hard to make that transformation something that is actionable and attainable for everyone, for all of our users and for the legal industry as a whole. And as part of that, we are constantly looking at the legal industry and looking for areas that we can improve in. We do a lot of fact-finding, a lot of research, and kind of recently we recognized that there was a need for a tool that could help lawyers not just manage their practices, but grow their practices.
But how did we recognize a need?
Right, so that's a good question. I mean, obviously, again, you guys know we do our homework, so how many of you here have heard of the Legal Trends Report? And I can't see because it's kind of yeah, so hopefully a lot of you, because obviously we talked about it, Jack talked about it at the keynote today, but yeah, so the Legal Trends Report is something that we've been doing for the last 4 years, and it provides an in-depth analysis of trends in the legal industry, and we do it with the explicit goal of helping lawyers achieve greater success in their practices. Now, obviously, again, clearly we believe in doing our homework because this report it's not a small thing. It is a huge undertaking. We take a massive cohort of data. We're talking information from 70,000 Clio users, law firm surveys, consumer surveys. We take all of that information and we aggregate it, we anonymize it, and we put it into this really little beautifully designed and digestible format, and then we share it with everyone. So
Show us the data.
Well, I'll show you the data, you bet. All right, so in the early days of the Legal Trends Report, something that we focused on was how lawyers were spending their time. Where was their time going? Has anybody heard about the missing 6 hours? Anybody? Yeah, you guys, some of you? Okay, so for those of you familiar with the report, you'll know that we've made some pretty incredible discoveries as far as how well lawyers were actually tracking their time and using their times. But last year, we kind of broke down our analysis even further and started to look at the various tasks that lawyers and their support staff do on a daily basis. And we kind of tried to identify how much time was being spent on individual tasks. And this breakdown that we've got up here is really, really handy because it lets us see how much time is being spent on tasks that in two key areas that Grow is designed to help with, namely marketing and business development and firm organization and administration. So we break this down. When we look at tasks like networking to meet new clients and build referrals, that can take lawyers an average of 1.4 hours a day. A day. Like, that's a lot of time. When we look at dealing with client questions that are unrelated to legal matters, support staff generally spends about an hour a day answering questions like that. Now, if we look at firm organization, you can see that transferring information between different programs, different software, that takes about an hour, 0.8 hour of a day. And not only that, but managing and coordinating staff can take about 0.7. So all told, we found that's just that alone is about 3 hours a day spent on various tasks related to growing a business.
But I don't see the problem. We're spending all these hours to help the company, right?
Right, but that's a good question. It's yeah, you can see that you're spending all of this time doing these things, but how do you know that all of that time is being put to good use and all of those efforts are actually paying off for the success of the company? Mm-hmm. So, also in the Legal Trends Report, something we really like to look at is how lawyers think about their practices. So how do they define success? How do you define success? And not only that, but what factors influence a firm's success? So, not surprisingly, no, you know what? That was too soon, you guys. Not surprisingly, the top factor that influences a firm's success was increasing firm revenue. Big shock, right? No, not really. That makes sense. But surprisingly, the two things that were on the bottom of this list that were factors that contributed to a firm's success were growing a client base and billing more hours. Now, I mean, in my mind, that seems a little bit strange, considering that you would think that more clients and more hours equals more revenue. So it's kind of curious, why does that gap exist? Why?
Why, actually?
Right.
Why we got this gap?
Exactly. Why is it there? So before I answer that, let me ask all of you a question. And I can't see because the light's kind of in my eyes, but how many of you went to law school? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Raise those hands. That's right. And so for those of you who went to law school, how many of you learned about marketing and business development in law school? Oh, not a single hand. Wow, so that's not surprising. Big shock. But the fact is that law schools are set up to help you learn how to practice the law, and they're designed to teach you how to do that ethically, competently, and to serve your clients in the best way that you possibly can. But interestingly enough, they don't teach you business skills, which is unfortunate because the majority of lawyers who graduate from law school actually end up becoming small and solo practitioners, otherwise known as business owners.
So how does Grow help?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And it's that gap in education is kind of why growing your client base and billing more hours didn't rank higher on that list. So Grow is designed to help you make up for that lack of knowledge that's going to help you in the early stages of your client journey. So the best way that Grow, or the place where Grow will have the most impact is in the early stages of the client journey. Does anyone recognize this? Anyone? Some of you? Oh, yeah, you do. Fabulous. That's great. So Grow is designed to help you with all of these tasks related to firm organization and business development, everything that happens in this first early stage of the intake process. So for example, forms are going to help you with intaking clients and collecting new data. okay? And that's going to save you a lot of time when it comes to transferring information, because it's all in there for you. The scheduler is going to help with things like networking to meet new clients and organizing firm staff, okay? Tasks will help with answering client questions that are not related to a matter, and exporting is going to help you, again, with transferring information between the two systems, between Grow and Manage, which is like such an easy process, save you so much time.
Cool. I'm going to sum up the first section of how Clio Grow actually helps your organization. The first thing you should grab from that is that Grow helps with your billable time. Grow actually takes a lot of tasks and automate them instead of manual tasks. And that gives you a chance to work more on your billable task and grab more money. Other thing that Grow does is standardize your intake process. It doesn't matter who in your firm is going to evaluate these leads. The lead is going to go through the same intake firm. So all the leads will evaluate the same. Those two things are going to make them, to increase the firm efficiency and grow in your client base. From that, I want to stop and go to key terms, the next section. It's important to do some common language so we all can understand this section a bit better.
Yeah, and I, for one, am really glad that we're doing this section, because the first time I heard CRM, I was like, I don't know what that is. So you want to tell us? What is CRM?
I would love to tell us.
Okay.
The first thing we should realize about CRM, that it's a global term. It's not something that Clio invented. CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management. It manages your current customer and potential customers. And its goal is to make your customer base grow. The next thing I want to cover is a lead. We are going to say lead a lot in this presentation. Lead is a sales opportunity. It combines two of the most basic things. A matter, what is this case all about, and the client, which is not yet a customer.
All right, so in Grow, a contact, a lead is a contact and a client. Clearly, I'm not paying attention. I really hope you guys are.
Almost my best student, yes. The next term I would like to cover is a funnel. A funnel is a core term. We in Clio see Grow as a funnel. The top bar represents all the new leads that you are going to get. And the bottom one represents the paying customers. Now, it's healthy to assume that through this funnel, you are going to lose some leads. You're going to lose some customers. Let's say that in the second one, in the collect information, you reviewed an intake firm and you decided to throw this lead. This lead is going to be thrown out through this funnel. But in Grow, we are going to show you where you are losing the most lead and how you can do it better and better. The final term I would like to cover is a pipeline. Who knows this page? Yes, so this is the first page you will see in Grow. Even if you are not using Grow and you bought it, this is what you will see. A pipeline is a represent of the funnel. You got all the columns, and each column represents a stage in the funnel. The thing that we like to use a pipeline because it's actionable. When a lead finishes its current state, it is advised to move to the next column from the left until it is a paying customers.
Right, and a really good thing to know about the pipeline is that each stage is customizable to the needs of your practice.
Correct. Whatever fits your organization. If you want to rename it, to remove a column, to add a column, all is possible. Now, let's move to the column itself, and let's talk about the new stages in Grow.
All right, so now that you know the why behind Grow and the key terms, let's kind of go over the steps that we're going to cover today. So first, I'm going to take you through adding a new lead, and then we'll talk about doing a little more detailed information collecting, all right, so like detailed intake. Mm-hmm. And then Shaked's going to take you through scheduling a consultation, okay? There is a go, as well as evaluating and retaining your client. And then after that, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about reporting. Now, reporting is not necessarily a step in the lead's journey, but it is a very important next step after the lead's journey is complete, okay? So, in order to kick things off, we thought it'd be great to start with a little story. So, Now, some of you may have noticed, and you probably know this because we told you, but we're not lawyers, okay? So when we were talking about this presentation, we thought that it would be really helpful for you if you were able to see how Grow could impact the practice of, a real lawyer. So in order to do that, we thought we would call on one of our favorite TV lawyers to help us.
Who can it be?
Yeah, so without further ado, I'd like to introduce you all to Jackie Childs, attorney at law. Does anyone remember Jackie from Seinfeld? Right? Yeah, yes, Jackie Childs, fabulous. That's the kind of reaction we were hoping for. So Jackie had a pretty lukewarm career on Seinfeld. He was pretty involved in the cases of, Kramer versus Sue Ellen Mitchke. You might remember that one. Kramer versus Java World. Your Face is My Case, Kramer versus Big Tobacco. And the State of New York versus Seinfeld. Now, Jackie didn't win any of those cases. And we have a feeling that had he had a tool like Grow, he likely would have been better able to assess whether or not the cases that were coming into his practice were something that he felt that he could take on, were in his wheelhouse, or just in general a good fit. We also feel like he probably wouldn't have kept hiring Kramer, because Kramer wasn't a really reliable guy to work with. So while we thought that we would reimagine Jackie's practice as though he had Grow, and we really think that things would have turned out differently. All right, so let's get growing. All right, so to help Jackie turn things around, the first thing we're going to do is start by adding a new lead to Grow, okay? So Shaked mentioned earlier that a lead contains two things, and I messed this up when I had to review it. So I want to quiz you guys. What is a lead? Who can tell me? It's two things. Right? Yeah, sales opportunity, and it's
It contains two.
Sorry? Boom! You guys got it. Fabulous. So that's right, a contact and a matter. So regardless of how leads are coming into your firm, whether they're coming in through phone, email, via your website, the way that you're going to capture their initial information is always going to be the same. And in order to do that, you're going to start at your pipeline, and you're going to click in the top right corner the quick intake button, okay? And that's going to take you to the quick intake form. Now, this is the place where you're going to capture really basic personal information like name, email, phone number, and we can see that our new incoming lead is named Newman. I don't know if any of you remember Newman from Seinfeld, but he's approached Jackie, and so we're going to gather some of his basic information. Now, we can see that this is where you capture the basic kind of name and contact info, but also on this form, there's another section that is something you really should be paying attention to. The first one is contact type. This is going to let you identify whether this is a new lead, is this a returning client, is this a colleague, what have you. Now, the other piece of information that you can capture here is lead source. This one is very important. This is going to help you identify where your leads are coming from, okay? So are they a referral? Are they coming to you off of your website? In Jackie's case, did they Google most mediocre lawyer in New York? What have you? Either way, you're going to want to track that. And we are going to come back to this when we talk about reporting, so keep it in the back of your minds, okay? So the last thing the piece of information you can capture on the quick intake is basic matter details, okay? Really high level, kind of gives you an opportunity to just look it over and say, yeah, is this something that I want to know more about? Is this a case I feel I could take on? So in this case, we know that Jackie does personal injury, and so Mr. Newman was bitten by his neighbor who was taking dog medication, negligently, I might add, and is now looking to sue for pecuniary damages relating to loss of employment opportunities. So definitely something Jackie's on board with. So after we've collected all of this kind of basic information, we're going to go ahead and click Create Matter. And once we do that, two things are going to happen. The first, a contact card will be created in our matter pipeline, and we'll take a look at that in a second. The second is that a matter will be created. And your matter is kind of like your home base, right? So anything that you want to do with this lead, anything that needs to be done as far as intake, this is where it's all going to happen. This is where the magic happens, okay? So now that Jackie's captured the information for this new lead, we're going to go ahead and look at capturing more detailed information. Now, look, his contact details are there. So we're going to capture more detailed information, but before we move on, I just want to take a minute to talk to you about best practices as far as data entry goes. So Grow has the power to be a really incredible tool. Absolutely like a game changer. But the one thing is that it really needs data. Okay, the more information and the more data you can give it, the more powerful of a tool it becomes. So in order to get the most out of Grow, you want to make sure that you are entering information about every lead that comes into your firm, about every person. You want to be entering it accurately and consistently. So accurately and all the time. Now, not only is that going to help you get the most out of Grow, but it's going to help you do things like run conflict checks, measure for metrics like lead sources, referral rates, conversion rates. That's all stuff we'll talk about in reporting, but really, really important things that are going to help you actually make decisions about how to run your practice better. All right.
Before we move into the next stage, we right now added a new lead, and we need so much more information to evaluate this lead correctly. And there is a reason why this button calls quick intake. It's the most basic information you should have about these leads. It's for you if you have a phone call and you want to type it really quick and to deal with this later. So Rio is going to show us how to collect more information and to gather more data for evaluate this lead correctly.
Right. So, remember how we talked about, like, maybe if Jackie had been able to kind of better assess whether or not a client was appropriate, he might have made some different choices as far as the cases that he took on? Well, this is exactly the time when we're going to gather all the information that will enable us to do that, okay? So, in order to capture a lead's detailed information, the first thing we're going to do is open the matter for that lead. Now, in order to do that, we need to find their contact card, which is here in the pipeline, right? And you can see that our ultimate goal is to move that lead's contact card, that's a mouthful of stuff to say, from the new leads column into the intake form column, right? So again, actionable pipeline. So in order to open up the matter, we're going to click on our lead's name, and that's going to take us to our home base matter page. Now, you can see on the left-hand side here that we've got some fields that still haven't been filled out. There's definitely more information that could be added to this matter. Now, in order to send a detailed intake form, the first thing we're going to do is click on the Add to Workflow drop-down menu. And from the menu, you're going to select Prepare Form. That's going to take us to the Prepare Form window. Now, on this page, you're able to select from the drop-down whichever intake form you would like to send. Now, keep in mind that you need to build your intake forms, okay? And they're totally customizable. You build them in a way that's going to allow you to capture all of the information you need. And we have a really fabulous workshop, actually, about intake forms and documents in Grow. We will give you the date and time for that later on in this session, but it's definitely worth checking out. So we're going to select the form that we want to send, and then we're going to hit Prepare Form. Now, that's going to take us to this page where we have the option to either email this form or fill it out in person. So that's really handy if your lead happens to be in the office. You can fill this form out at any time. But if they're not around, it's really, really nice to be able to email them the form and have them do all of that data entry for you, which is fabulous. Saves you a lot of time transferring information, right? So we're going to email this form to Mr. Newman. And this page is basically where we're able to kind of craft like a a little like intro email, like, hey, Newman, here's an intake form. Fill it out. And again, you can either use an email template, major time saver, or you can write an email from scratch. But once your email is ready and we're ready to send the form, we're going to hit send. And then all of this amazing magic is going to happen. And we send our intake form. Jackie's sending it to Newman. Newman gets the email. He opens it up. He clicks the link. And boom, this is the intake form that he sees. Now you can see, I'm jumping ahead, guys. I'm just so excited to show you this form. There we go. So you can see that all of Mr. Newman's information that he entered previously, there we go, is already populated in there. So all of that basic contact info we gathered, that's really, really handy because number one, it's going to save him time and keep him from having to do double data entry, which is ultimately going to improve his client experience. It's also going to give him a chance to check over the information that he provided previously and make sure that it's error-free. So that's going to increase your program and your data's accuracy. All right, so now, another really great feature about the forms, about these intake forms, is that you have the ability to link custom fields, contact and matter custom fields, to the ones back in the matter. So any information that Newman enters in this form is going to be auto-populated back in your matter, saving you the time of having to transfer that data and re-enter it into the program. So we can see we've got contact fields and matter custom fields as well. And again, they're just a really big time saver. So Mr. Newman has filled out this form. He clicks submit. And again, through the magic of the internet, it gets sent back to Grow, and now you can see that all those fields on the left-hand side that were previously blank have been filled.
I have a question.
What?
What is this
What do you
weird checkbox that I see on the right corner?
Yeah, so that is the intake checklist. So the intake checklist is like a really, really handy tool because it allows you to standardize your intake process, and it gives every member of your firm the ability to see really what's happened with this lead so far and to see where this lead is in the intake process. So say, Donna's out sick, she can't finish this intake process. Well, Jim can pick up right where she left off. He'll know the status of every item, what's outstanding and what has yet to be done. And that's going to guarantee that you're collecting all the right information all the time, no matter who's doing the intake. Yeah, so that's our detailed intake process. Right, so before we move on, I just want to do a quick recap with you and talk about, again, best practices for standardizing your intake process. So email templates, intake form templates, custom fields, contact and matter custom fields, and workflow checklists. Take advantage of all of those things. Setting them up is so worth it because ultimately they're going to save you so much time and ensure that everybody in your firm is on the same page and that your intake is like a snap. Okay.
Right. Yeah, so by now we added a new lead and we collect all the information that we need for this case. Jackie reviewed the intake form, but he still has questions. So he decided he wanted to meet with Newman for a consultation. Now, the biggest problem about the consultation is actually scheduling one and booking one, because it's always contain a lot of back and forth communication between both of the sides to know when their availabilities are. So in Clio, we started to think, how can we solve this problem? And how can we make this experience better to both of them? As Rio mentioned before, in Clio, we are doing our homework. So in the legal trends report, we ask our lawyers, how do you think that your customers would like to book an appointment? And 47% of them said that they think their customers would like to do it by email. Now, this is really odd because we also saw that the average mails that we need for an email, for booking a consultation, is 8 emails. Think about all the times that get into waste until you finally book a consultation between the customers and the lawyer. In Clio, we are doing a deep job. So we also ask the customers, what do you really want? How do you want to book a consultation with your lawyers? And 59% of them didn't say email, they say over the phone. Now think about it, 59%, it's a huge number.
Yeah, it is a huge number. And do we know why that is?
Yeah, so in Clio, we think that it's because of the back and forth communication. Our clients just want to make a phone call and deal with it, just book an appointment already. So in Clio, we started to think that if we can create a self-serving scheduling service that will do all this in a couple of buttons, we can make this process much better for everyone. I want to show you a quick demo of how we are doing this scheduling flow. First, as Rio mentioned, everything is going to be in the pipeline. So our process is to move this from an intake form to a consultation. After we click on the matter that we found, we are going to click on the workflow. The workflow item is where everything happened. All the action that you need to do is there. This time, I'm going to pick create new appointment. In this create new appointment, I have 2 options. Either I already know the time and date, I can just fill it out. Or I want to pick the new option, the scheduler option that says, I want the contact to book a consultation by my available time. I also enter more details about the consultation, and then I click schedule. When I click schedule, it will go to an email template that says, hey, Newman, I would like to book a consultation with you. Please click on this link and pick availability time. Now, before I show you how this link looks like, I just want to remind one thing. This scheduler feature is not a magician. It knows how you are available by the Clio Manage calendar. So you have to keep your Clio Manage calendar your source of truth. Jackie did that. Jackie updated all of his events. So if we check Monday and Tuesday, Jackie is in Clio Con, so he's all booked up. These 2 days are not going to be available for the prospect. Also, in Wednesday, he got meetings from 9 to 5, so it's all busy and won't show up. On Thursday, there is a gap between 12:30 and 3:30. So when Newman is going to pick this date, this is the slot that you will see, only from 12:30 to 3:30. So now to Newman eyes, he's going to enter the link that he just got. He's going to see some information about the details, and he's going to show a calendar. He will pick a date, which will be the 24th, and you see this gap of all the slots. He's going to pick 2 p.m., which is a good time after lunch. And he got confirmed. By 2 clicks, he just confirmed the whole consultation and book it.
Right, but so what if Newman wants to change the time or the date on his appointment? Like, what if he needs to reschedule?
Right, so I didn't mention that once Newman confirmed, he got an email to his inbox that says, your appointment is confirmed. If you want to cancel, if you want to reschedule, this is the link. So we can have all the modifier and all the changes by his own.
Cool.
Yeah, the next thing I would like to mention is that this availability slot is now taken, and it's automatically populated to your Clio calendar with all the information about the new consultation that just booked. It's really a better experience to both sides, and it's important to know that once our client will see how easy the process is, they won't get frustrated, and we won't lose client about bad ways about that.
Yeah, and like Shaked's absolutely right. Like that's kind of a really nice streamlined process for your client, but I also, I don't know, at Clio, we always just want to make things better, and we kind of kept thinking back about transferring information between software, right? Like thinking about this intake process, like how can we streamline it even further? And I think Shaked's going to tell you. You think we can do it?
Exactly. Yeah. In Clio, we think about that. If you will remember the first thing that we did to add a new lead, we click on a quick intake, and we manually enter a contact and the lead. But sometimes we would like them to enter this data for us. That's why Clio introduced this year appointment types. If you will go to your setting, you will see this new appointment types tab. And you can edit it and say how much time this meeting is going to happen, and some explanation about the meeting, and then it's going to generate a really long and ugly URL that you can embed it everywhere. You can put it in your website, you can put it in your email signature, and you just can say, book now. Once the prospect will get into this link, he's going to see the same thing as the scheduler, but before he's going to confirm, we are going to create a new matter, create a new lead by an intake form it will take. I know it sounds confusing. We are going to see a quick demo. So in this book now that you just embedded in your website, you will see this link. This new person is going to pick a date, pick a time, and this time it won't redirect to the confirm page, but it will redirect to intake form. The answers that you will fill in here will be removed to the new client and the new lead in the new lead that we are going to create. So I'm going to fill the form, and only now I will see the confirm page. You will see that a couple of things will happen. First, in the pipeline, I have a new lead that just popped up with a special label that says book consultation. That means that we got it from the public link that someone just booked. And if we click on quick view, we will see that we took the information that he put in the intake form to a new matter and a new lead. So all this is just from the intake form I just gathered. Cool. To sum up the consultation section, we got two things. If you want to create a consultation, you can do it either from a lead that you already created and then said, hey, I want to book a consultation with you, or you can do it in a public consultation. Embed this link in a URL or just put it in your email signature, and everybody can book a time with you.
All right. Thank you. So I don't know, I just have to say that scheduling feature and the public links feature is something that's absolutely going to help improve client experience. Like if you're looking to offer your clients a streamlined, seamless process, definitely take advantage of the public link and the appointments.
Yeah, definitely agree.
So now that Shaked's covered that with us, we're going to move on and talk about evaluating and retaining clients. So again, this is the stage where Jackie really could have used something like Grow, because he could have maybe, avoided hiring a certain person over and over again. And
make a better decision.
Yeah, maybe things would have been better for him. So Shaked's going to take you through that right now.
Yeah, so now our purpose is to move it from consultation to engagement step. In this stage, we already know everything. We created a new lead, we created a consultation, we reviewed the intake form, review all the documents that we upload. In this stage, you will be able to answer this question. You can ask yourself, is the prospect okay with my fees? Do I think that I have a case and I want to grab it? Is that kind of lawyer that I want to be? If all the answers for this question is yes, it means that I need to hire this lead. And I'm going to show you how you do it in Grow. The first thing you'll need to do is to prepare an engagement letter. We are going again to go to the workflow where everything is happened and prepare a document. When you prepare a document, there is two options. Either it's something that you do all the time, so we have a template, or you're just going to upload a PDF that you prepare that the prospect can sign. This time, because it's an engagement letter, I'm doing it all the time, I will use a template. When I will use a template, I will also use the signature, which is Newman, and I will proceed. I will send it via email. It will again put you an email template that said, hello, Newman, please sign this engagement letter, and it's done. You will notice that once I send it, the task of the signature is now pending. Once it will be signed, I will get emails that Newman signed the agreement letter, and that all this task is now green, and this lead can be marked as hired. When this lead is hired, I want to show in the pipeline that this lead is hired and remove it from the current pipeline. Now, Rio, you can see that every lead has a green button and a red button. If I want to hire this lead, which button should I use?
So I feel like the answer to that is green, because green means go, and it's the color of money.
You are
America
so
here
smart.
Anyway.
Yeah, so we are going to click on the green. And in the green, you can put categories of what does it mean hired. If you want a returning client or a new client, this is all customized, and you can change it to whatever you want. Newman in here is a new client, so I'm going to pick that, and Newman is hired. You can also always check all your hired tab in the pipeline. You can see that in the pipeline, there is a tab that says hired, and you can just review all your hired leads. It's really good for a conflict check if you want to see what are the leads that you hired. Another thing that you should do is export the lead to Matter. Once you export the lead to Matter, it means that everything got exported in one click. Your documents, your notes, your contact, your Matter, everything just export to Clio Manage, and you will get it all to manage your case. Now, this was the happy path, but most of the time we are going to lose some leads in the funnels. It can be that the prospect is not okay with the fees, or it can be that the prospect just stopped answering us. It doesn't matter what the answer, but it matters that we will record everything. Rio in reporting is going to show you why it's important, but I just want to show you how you mark that it's not hired. Rio, again, I need your help. There is a green and there is a red. If I want to mark it as did not hired.
I feel like red, because red means no.
Correct. I'm going to click on the red. And again, there is a customized reasons why it did not hire. You can change it to whatever works in your organization. I'm just going to pick one. And Newman is not hired. it's going to kick out this lead from the intake form and put it in the did not hire tab, which is also in the pipeline. To sum up the evaluate section, I just want you to remember 3 things. First, evaluate the leads correctly. Think if you really want to proceed with those leads. 2, use our document and e-signature format. In Grow, there is a lot of documents that you can sign online. I didn't show it all the specific, but in the end, we are going to show a workshop for this section that you can go and learn more about it. And the third thing, record everything. It doesn't matter if it's hired or not hired, it matters that you will record it. And Rio is going to show you why.
Right. Okay, so that kind of sums up the lead journey of a lead to a client. But something that we really want to focus on and kind of call out here is like what happens after that? What happens after you've tracked all of this information about your leads and where they're coming in and when they're falling out of the funnels and so on and so forth? Well, that's where reporting comes in. So at Clio, we really believe in the mantra, what gets measured gets managed. And this is absolutely something that is important to keep in mind. If you're not, like, it's one thing to track all of this stuff, but if you're not, then looking at that information and using it to actually make informed decisions about your practice, then, really, you're not getting the most out of what Grow can do for you. So this is like, I don't know, a really, really important step. I know everyone's like, oh, reports, womp, womp. But they're really, really important to know. So let's start by taking a look at one key term that we kind of thought we would leave till the end, and that is conversion rate. Has anyone here ever heard the term conversion rate before? Oh, look at this. This is amazing. Yeah, you guys are on it. You know what's going down. Great. So for those of you who aren't familiar with this term, conversion rate is the percentage of leads that make it all the way through your pipeline and become paying customers. So for example, if you had 100 leads and half of them made it through the pipeline and became clients, your conversion rate is 50%. Okay, makes sense? So Grow is equipped with reports to help you calculate conversion rate. It can help you calculate a bunch of other things too. This is just one that we're going to talk about right now. So conversion rate is really, really important because it lets you identify which of your lead sources are the highest value, which ones you should be investing more in, maybe some that aren't working out so great for you. Now, in identifying those lead sources, you're going to be armed with the information you need to make different decisions about what you're going to do, say, like next month for marketing. So I'm going to kind of walk through how we can take the information in this report and use it to inform the decisions that you make about your practice. So looking at this, we can see that advertising and referrals both have conversion rates of about 66%. So 66% of the people that are coming in through those lead sources are becoming clients. Well, that's really good. That's a great number. Now, we can also see that Facebook and LinkedIn have conversion rates of about 50%. So not terrible. Like, there's really no magic number when it comes to conversion rate, but ideally, the higher the better is kind of a good rule of thumb. So based on the information in this report, just curious, what do you guys think? What kind of changes do you think you would make next month when it was time to kind of think about your advertising budget or think about the changes you were going to make in your practice? Does anyone have any ideas? Anybody? Feel like anyone? No? Yeah, you?
Yeah. Invest in the higher conversion rate, maybe?
Sorry?
Put more money in the higher conversion rate.
Yeah, so maybe like you want to up your conversion rate with referrals. So you might put a little more thought into like improving client experience so that you get more referrals, right? Maybe with LinkedIn. So you've got a 50% conversion rate. You could really go up or down. It's really up to you. Maybe you just want to leave your advertising on LinkedIn where it is. Maybe you want to invest more in it. Who knows? The point is that you take this information and use it to make changes to drive those numbers up, okay? And the changes you make, they don't have to be huge. They don't have to be big and scary. Little things can have a really, really positive, big impact on your firm. So take it one step at a time, 1 month at a time, But the point is that you take this information and you use it because it's powerful and it's going to help you get the most out of Grow. It's going to help you build a successful long-term practice.
Side note, it doesn't really matter who brought me the most lead. It does matter who got me the best conversion rate.
Yeah.
Because if I got lots of leads from Facebook, I just care about the leads that actually converted to paying customers.
Yeah, right, exactly. You could get 1,000 leads from Facebook, but if only one of them became your client, then that's not a great conversion rate, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so that kind of covers conversion rate. That's just a basic thing that Grow can help you calculate. So another thing that you can look at is matters added. So what type of cases are coming in? Where are they coming from? What kind of lead sources, which lead sources are bringing you the cases that you want, right? So again, that's a really, really important thing to look at. I mean, say you're trying to take on more of one type of case, well, this is exactly where you're going to find the information about what sources are bringing you those cases. So one really, really fabulous feature about our reports is that you're able to filter them. Okay, so you can filter them by date, by matter type, by lead source, whole variety of things. And once you filter them, you can really narrow down the data. So we can see here that Facebook actually brought us one matter from mid-September to mid-October, right? So maybe not the greatest. Maybe we're not going to invest so much in Facebook next month when it comes time to, allocate our advertising budget. Yeah, so that's just kind of a broad overview of how reporting can really kind of give you the insights that you need to run your firm, but there's so much more to it than we have time to cover today, so I would strongly recommend that you take a stroll over to the lab and the Smart Bar just next door. There are a million, not literally a million, but there's a lot of people over there that are more than happy to cover reports with you in more detail, okay? Yeah, so just to kind of sum it up, as far as reporting goes, it's really valuable because it's going to help you track key data, help you figure out which are your most valuable lead sources, which of your matter types are coming in from what lead sources, help you measure your conversion rate. We love that number. And it's also going to help you calculate your return on investment. So your return on investment means how much did it cost you to get each lead that you got, all right? Because if you're spending $1,000 to get one lead, that's not a great return on your investment. So again, the lovely folks in the lab next door will be more than happy to cover that with you. All right, so that's it, guys. That kind of wraps it all up.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
We still have time for Q&A.
Yeah, absolutely. And we also have here, just like while we do a Q&A, we've got suite setup, so setting up Clio Grow, and also Clio Grow intake forms and document workshops put on by our fabulous friend Paul Monroe. Definitely check that one out. It's going to be great. So who's got questions?
Oh, no.
Oh, lots of people. Great. Okay. Do we have mics for?
Yeah.
You got a mic? Okay, so let's start over here.
Okay, so why didn't the person who filled out the intake form through the calendar link move to a different pipeline, like the consult scheduled pipeline?
Yeah, so I didn't show this, but actually on the setting of the public appointment, you can determine where do you want this new lead to be. So you're picking the pipeline step that you want this new consultation to get, whatever works to you.
Okay. Right over here, do we got a mic coming? Oh, okay, let's start with this gentleman, and then we'll move to the woman right over there. Okay, hi.
Hi. In the scheduling app, is there a way to set criteria like no meetings before 9 a.m. or at least an hour in length or anything like that?
Great question. Right now, it's not customized, but it will be. Right now, it's hard-coded to 9 until 5 in your time zone.
I have a follow-up question, sort of related to that. I don't really want clients or new clients knowing all of my availability because then they'll wonder why I haven't done their work yet on their case. I mean, not like me specifically, but anyway. But seriously, I really don't want them knowing all my business. So maybe it's the same answer as to his question. Do we have the ability to limit what they actually see on the calendar, or is it just going to automatically be what is not a taken slot is going to show up on there as something that they can book on? Because I need more control.
Yeah, so right now you can't limit it, but this is your link. You can send it to whatever you want. You cannot publish it in a public website if you don't want to send it to everyone, but no, you can't limit it.
But what you could do is block off chunks of time in your calendar that are just like hey,
Right.
do not book. Yeah, I also
Right.
use a public booking link when I'm booking appointments with bar partners.
Great idea.
And so, yeah, sometimes if I'm not able or I have other work to do, I'll just block off a chunk and then they won't see that.
So if we have like a trial on Thursday, and
Yeah.
so we're all day availability, it looks like on Tuesday and Wednesday, we
Yeah.
just need to block out that whole day with
Yeah.
trial prep.
Yeah, just block it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a workaround. I
Yeah,
can do.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It's a workaround. All right, so,
Yes. No, that's all.
you good? Okay. Okay, so right here in the back.
Where in the process is the conflict check?
Sorry?
Oh, sorry?
Where in the process is the conflicts check?
Yeah, so the conflict check is something that you will do, but we can show you all the hired board. So you can see all your leads that you did take. So you can search it.
Yeah, and ideally you'd be doing that early on, probably before more detailed intake. Yeah, like right after the quick intake, running their name through your system. Yeah. Can we get there's a lot of people down at the front as well. I think we should get a mic down here. Hi.
Hi. So Acuity scheduling will interact with Clio, and it'll also allow you to block off, like, this is when I want to do an estate plan consult, this is when I want to do this. So can you integrate it with Clio Grow in lieu of it going directly to your calendar, which was what her issue was?
Yeah, so you can link, the question is, I think, can you connect, grow, and manage, right? Like the calendars?
Can you use Acuity scheduling to do what Clio Grow currently can't do, but still get all the benefits of Clio Grow?
Oh.
I'm not sure I understand, but you can approach me later or come to the Clio lab
Okay.
when I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
All right. Hi.
Hi. In terms of conversion rate and looking into referral sources, you did have a list of different kinds of referral sources,
Yeah.
but I'd like to know, out of the people, the actual people that are referring to us, can we see which referrals, people referrals, are coming in? Like, is there a way to see what kind of conversion rate we have with those so we
Yeah.
can determine who our top person referrals are?
Oh, that's a really good question. So I do know that you can customize. So you can customize which referral sources you're having. But can you?
We can filter by person.
You can?
So maybe
Yeah,
if a specific user created all
Yeah.
that, so you can you can open that, or you can do a customized categories by this person name.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
fill it like that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Hello. Can we get? Oh, wait. Okay, sorry. And then you'll be next. Hi.
Two quick things. When you export the matter from Grow to Manage, what is the matter status? How does it go in as? Open, closed, pending?
What is the what? Sorry.
The matter status, when you convert it from Grow to Manage, what is it? Is it open, closed, or pending?
I'm not sure. I think it's open, but I'm not sure.
It's open.
It's open, yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's open. We got confirmation in the back there.
Okay. The other thing is it possible to have a task list automatically assigned to the matter when you move it over?
Adam, grab the microphone, maybe.
When you export it from Clio Grow to Manage, is it possible to have like a designated task list automatically assigned?
I don't believe that's current functionality on the managed side of things, but we can talk about that a little bit more in the lab. Cool.
Okay. So this woman here in the front had a quick question. Tell it to me and I'll repeat it so they can all hear it.
All of the scheduling apps, all of them, I have to go into my calendar and I have to fill my whole calendar, specifically leave gaps. This is an enormous waste of my time. What I want to do is tell the scheduler, I will take calls on Friday between 4 and 7. I don't want to go fill up all the rest of my time. So can I do this?
You can do this now, but we are working on this currently on my team.
Yeah.
The day that happens, I will start using it.
Cool.
Adam, take her number.
Yeah. Adam, get this woman's info. All right. Hi.
You are not allowed to do that. You will bring the microphone to people.
Okay. Well,
So we don't offer free consultations. Is there a way with the Clio scheduler to have a client pay before it's confirmed?
Yeah, this is in our plan as well. Yeah,
it's coming.
My team is actually working on that right now, so prepare for this.
Okay.
Oh, she got the microphone.
Hi, I'm
We're
Mike.
like, who has a microphone?
So in some of the intake forms, you said we could do custom fields for what we'd have people enter. And then are those custom fields then exported or related to the custom fields that we've established in Manage?
So yes, they should be the same. Like you should make sure that they are named the same, and yes, they can be ported over.
Yeah, you can actually export your custom field from Manage to Grow, and then it will be the same.
Yeah. Who's got? Okay, Mike. Oh, right in the back. Or yeah.
So this might be a low priority issue, but there is a statute of limitations function when you set up an initial matter, and I think it would be interesting if they're in their intake form, if they input. For example, if it's a personal injury matter and they put in the date of the incident, if you could at least preliminarily have the statute of limitations automatically populate, especially if they're coming up on a deadline, I think that would be good to know early in the process. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. That's a really, really good feature. I don't know if that's on the roadmap.
I'm not sure. You could come to me later on the Clio lab, so I will make
definitely we'll take a trip over to the lab. We can talk about it. I think there was someone right back here.
Hi, so I'm a practicing real estate lawyer, but at least twice a week I'll get an email from someone saying that I got fired from my job or I hate my spouse and I need to have a consultation. So I'm just wondering if there's the ability, instead of having people be able to click through a link on the web to schedule my time, is there a way to review that request beforehand and approve that I'm available to meet, or potentially even pass it along to a colleague, another colleague in my firm, rather than have someone just book a time in my schedule?
Yeah, what you're proposing is like a confirmation page for you before it's actually booked. We're thinking about it and we are learning the need if we want to do something like that or not, but right now we are not currently working on that.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, right in the back.
Yes, my question relates to email campaigns on Clio Grow. I'm just wondering if I add an email campaign, does it have to send every email, or can I choose and select which emails get sent out on an email campaign?
You can choose. Come talk with her after the section.
Thank you.
Oh, one back here.
Hi. In Clio Grow, I'm used to using kind of a process flow screen similar to yours, but there are multiple people in the firm who are touching it at any given time, whether they're had an additional phone call during the intake stage or many questions regarding signing the contract. Is there an ability for firm members to put notes in throughout that client tab? So you can see what they've done on it.
There is definitely on the matter, if you saw there was a small tabs, and there was an email tab and there was a note tab. So once you're going to the note, you can add all the notes that you want and it will be on the workflow.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. All right, anyone else? No? Okay.
Cool. If you have more questions,
thanks, guys.
come to the lab.